What is the Gomu Gomu no Mi? The Gomu Gomu no Mi is an incredibly important devil fruit in the One Piece world, and the very first one that was introduced to the fans in the story right at the beginning when Luffy ate it. Ever since then, the Gomu Gomu no Mi has been central to the story of One Piece. This is the main power source of Luffy, and he has been using it incredibly well over the years. In this video, we'll uncover the truth behind Luffy's powers and discover how this hidden legacy could change everything in One Piece. At first glance, the Gomu Gomu no Mi seems like a simple paramecia-type fruit that turns the user's body into rubber. Its powers have been central to Luffy's adventures, allowing him to stretch, twist, and bounce his way through enemies. However, as the series progressed, this seemingly ordinary fruit was revealed to hold a much deeper and darker secret. Originally, this devil fruit was not called the Gomu Gomu no Mi. Instead, its true name is the Hito Hito no Mi model Nika, a mythical Zoan-type fruit that grants the user the powers of the sun god Nika. The world government hid this fact for centuries, renaming it to suppress its true potential. So why is this so important? Because the power of the sun god Nika is closely tied to freedom and liberation, a concept that runs deep throughout One Piece. The origins of the Hito Hito no Mi model Nika go back nearly 900 years, possibly linking it to Joy Boy, one of the most mysterious figures in One Piece history. It is heavily implied that Joy Boy, the figure associated with the Void Century, might have been the first to wield this devil fruit. The idea of Joy Boy being the first pirate who sought to unite the world in freedom resonates with the fruit's hidden powers, those of a warrior who brings liberation to all. Fast forward 13 years before the start of Luffy's adventure, the world government captured this fruit after chasing it for 800 years. But fate had other plans. Shanks' crew stole it, leading to a chance encounter where Luffy eventually ate the fruit, unknowingly inheriting the power of the sun god Nika. From this moment, Luffy's destiny as a warrior of liberation was sealed. The name Gomu Gomu is an interesting choice that links the fruit to its rubbery abilities. In Japanese, Gomu means rubber, derived from the Dutch word gom, while Hito translates to person or human. As for Nika, it's a playful sound associated with smiling or grinning, hinting at the joyful and liberating nature of the sun god Nika. In various translations, the fruit is referred to as the gum gum fruit, maintaining the rubber connection. But once the truth of the fruit's original name is revealed, we see it as the human fruit model Nika, a powerful fruit that allows the user to embody a god of liberation. This profound change in name reveals a lot about the true nature of this fruit. Initially, the Gomu Gomu no Mi gives its user a body with rubber-like properties. Luffy can stretch, inflate, and bend in ways that make him almost indestructible against blunt attacks. This elasticity has allowed him to survive gunfire, cannonballs, and even high-speed collisions that would obliterate a normal person. However, the fruit's real strength comes from the hidden potential of its mythical zone form, which doesn't manifest until Luffy reaches a certain point in his journey. One of the unique advantages of the Gomu Gomu no Mi is that Luffy's entire body, even his internal organs, takes on these rubbery properties. He can inflate his bones, pump blood faster, and withstand intense electrical attacks, something that was especially useful when fighting the likes of Enel, the user of the Goro Goro no Mi. Luffy's early years using the Gomu Gomu no Mi were marked by a lot of trial and error. As a kid, he struggled to control the fruit's abilities, often missing his target and spinning uncontrollably. But after training in the jungle, Luffy learned to master his powers, developing creative combat techniques that would define his fighting style. Luffy has developed several gear techniques using his devil fruit powers. Here's a breakdown of each gear technique. Luffy first used Gear 2 in the Enies Lobby arc during his fight against Blueno, where he boosted his speed and strength by pumping blood faster through his body. After the time skip, Luffy mastered Gear 2, using it in specific parts of his body and enhancing it with armament haki. He also created the powerful Red Hawk attack, where his punch ignites in flames. Luffy introduced Gear 3 in episode 288 and fully showcased it in episode 305 during his fight with Rob Lucci. In this form, Luffy bites his thumb to create an opening, then inflates his arms to a massive size, enabling him to launch more powerful attacks. However, this comes at the cost of reduced mobility. Initially, using Gear 3 caused Luffy to shrink into a small child, but after the time skip, he mastered this form and no longer experiences the shrinking effect. The Dressrosa arc introduced Gear 4, marking a significant transformation in Luffy's abilities. He debuted this form during his fight with Doflamingo. In Gear 4, Luffy inflates his body, hardens it with armament haki, and gains a huge boost in both offensive and defensive power. Gear 4 also has 3 subforms. The first subform of Luffy's Gear 4 is called Bound Man or Bounceman. In this form, Luffy's body enlarges, with his torso, arms, and legs coated in armament haki for both attack and defense. He can retract his limbs into his body to release powerful, high-speed strikes. His haki-coated body also deflects many attacks. The second subform of Luffy's Gear 4 is called Tankman, which appeared during his battle against Charlotte Cracker. Tankman is heavily defense-oriented, allowing Luffy to absorb significant damage. He used this form to withstand Cracker's attacks and ultimately defeat him with his powerful Gomu Gomu no Cannonball attack. The third subform of Luffy's Gear 4 is called Snakeman, which debuted during his fight against Charlotte Katakuri. Snakeman emphasizes speed, allowing Luffy to deliver incredibly fast attacks, but at the cost of reduced defensive strength. One of its key features is Luffy's ability to change the direction of his attacks mid-air, using a technique called Python. This gave him a strategic advantage against Katakuri's observation haki, enabling him to attack from unpredictable angles. The biggest revelation in the Wano arc was the true awakening of the Gomu Gomu no Mi, which Luffy unknowingly referred to as Gear 5. When the fruit awakens, the user's body undergoes a drastic transformation. Luffy's hair turns white, his clothes transform, and he gains glowing, ring-shaped pupils. He even exudes clouds of steam that seem to swirl around him. This transformation closely resembles the figure of Nika, the sun god, giving Luffy the ability to manipulate his surroundings, including living beings, as if they were made of rubber. With this awakening, Luffy can now stretch objects around him and even turn elements like lightning into rubber. His adaptability in battle becomes almost limitless, as Kaido himself notes during their fight. Luffy's ability to treat reality like it's a playground of rubber allows him to create an almost cartoon-like combat style, bringing laughter and joy even in the heat of battle, a reflection of Nika's influence. His newfound abilities make him truly dangerous, so much so that the Five Elders were willing to risk angering Kaido just to stop Luffy from awakening this power. Luffy's awakened form, which we now know as Gear 5, is not just another combat technique. It's a manifestation of the true nature of the Hito Hito no Mi model Nika. The sun god Nika is known as the warrior of liberation, and Luffy embodies this role fully when his fruit is awakened. His lighthearted attitude, creativity, and sense of freedom are amplified in this form, which spreads joy and laughter even during intense fights. It's no coincidence that Luffy often laughs in the face of danger. His personality aligns perfectly with the fruit's true power. Despite the overwhelming power of the Gomu Gomu no Mi, it still has several key weaknesses. First, the fruit offers no protection against cutting attacks or bladed weapons. Additionally, when Luffy stretches his limbs during battle, he leaves himself vulnerable to attacks until they retract. Oda has even mentioned in an SBS that Luffy's body has a stretching limit of 72 Gomu Gomus, beyond which he risks injury. Other weaknesses include the fruit's inability to protect against extreme kinetic force, which can overwhelm Luffy's resistance to blunt damage. And like all Devil Fruit users, Luffy is vulnerable to water and sea stone. Finally, although Luffy's use of haki makes him stronger, overusing techniques like Gear 4 drains his energy quickly, leaving him vulnerable if his haki is depleted.